The Administration of Criminal Justice Act came into being in May 2015 as a federal law. The purpose of this law, among others, is to ensure speedy dispensation of justice, protection of the rights and interests of the suspects, the defendant, and the victim. One of the states that have domesticated the law is Abia. What has come to be known as the Abia State Administration of Criminal Justice Law No. 12, 2017 was assented to by Governor Kezi Ikpeazu on 30th of December 2017. Part 2, Section 34, Subsection 1 of the ACJL 2017 provides that the Chief Magistrate, or where there is no Chief Magistrate within the Police Division, any magistrate designated by the Chief Judge for that purpose shall at least every month conduct an inspection of police stations or other places of detention within his territorial jurisdiction other than the prison. This is to check cell congestion, illegal arrest and detention, and other forms of police brutality against the citizens. MCL News visited some police divisions in Abia State to ascertain whether or not chief magistrates in the state or those designated have been carrying out this duty. Our first port of call was the World Bank Divisional Police Headquarters at Ehimiri in Umuahia North Local Government Area. At the station, the divisional police officer in charge declined comments on the condition that he was not authorized to speak to the press, but sources within the division said they had never seen magistrates visit or inspect their cells. We were not welcomed at Dome Opera Police Divisional Headquarters in Umuahia South Local Government Area. The DPO, a female, and confirming our mission to her office, said she neither wanted to see nor talk to any journalist. However, a reliable source at the station, who did not want to be mentioned, told us that they did not have records of magistrates' visitation. The authorities at the Obakla Police Division declined comments when we approached them for information on the issue. At this point, we put up a phone call to the Police Public Relations Officer, Abia State Command, Jeffrey Obwenna, a superintendent of police. He answered from Abuja and said he did not have any report or record of magistrates' visitation. We carried our investigation to other police divisions in the state, anticipating different results. The police divisional headquarters of Ualangwa in East Alangwa North Local Government Area was our next stop. We were not allowed to take shots here for what they termed security reasons. The story was, however, not different here. The DPO, a female, referred us back to the PPRO for a permit before she could talk to us. Meanwhile, a source in the station said they had not received any magistrate on inspection in recent time. At the Eziama Police Division located in Abasa Local Government Area, the message was the same. The DPO was not authorized to speak to the press. We took our inquiry to the Cameroon Road Police Division, popularly known as Cameroon Barracks, located in Aba South Local Government Area. There we were told by the DPO in charge that the Aba Area Command Headquarters of the Nigeria Police holds the answers to our questions. Our visit to the Area Command yielded no result, as the authorities there also referred us back to the State Command Headquarters in Umuahia. Meanwhile, a reliable source at the command made a case for the magistrates. He said it was difficult for the magistrates to carry out such assignments since many of them can barely fuel their vehicles while some are immobile. We returned to Umuahia and paid a visit to the PPRO, who had returned from his journey to Abuja. The purpose of the visit was to have him confirm his earlier information and record and also obtain permission to interview the DPOs. But he declined our request and asked that we write to the Commissioner of Police in the state requesting such permission. Racing for the deadline of our investigation, we placed a phone call to CP Eneokon. He told us that the command was busy with the screening of prospective intakes into the force, thus was indisposed at that moment. On the 5th of August 2019, We wrote a letter to the Commissioner of Police requesting an interview session with either himself or the command's spokesman. On a follow-up visit to the police headquarters a day later, the police PRO told us that the Commissioner had minuted on the letter and suggested that the officer in charge of legal matters was appropriate for the interview. He said he was going to liaise with the said officer and contact us later for the interview. Since then, efforts made to have the police tell their own part of the story have been unsuccessful, as several calls placed on the PRO's phone were not answered as of the time of this report. With this, we switched our searchlight to the magistrates themselves. Some magistrates approached and the matter said they were not allowed to speak to the press. However, one who asked not to be mentioned said she has never visited any police division as a magistrate and does not know any of her colleagues who may have. This took us to the State High Court, Umuahia, and the Chief Registrar, Benson Anya, blamed the development on what he described as the lack of administrative infrastructure. He says the law has not fully taken shape in the state 2 years after it was domesticated.
It's not enough to say you've made the law, you also have to create enabling environment for the law to take off. For instance, Abia State has no postal institutions, places where juveniles are confined. You don't take young persons to regular prisons. They ought to be in institutions where special care will be given to them. They are not in Abia State. They are not in any part of Southeast. They are not even in South or anywhere. Maybe there are postal institutions, postal houses you can only find in Lagos, maybe Abuja. You understand? So to that extent, we in the judiciary are making effort to ensure that within the limits of our finances, to ensure that this law is implemented.
Anya, however, insists that the state judiciary is making efforts to ensure that the law becomes effective in the state.
It is part of what the judiciary is doing to ensure that the dictates of this criminal administration of the criminal justice law is being put in place. Because the work of that committee is very necessary and essential.
But the law actually on its own was very exact on the role of magistrates.
The law is an ass. You understand? If you don't write it, it does not go anywhere. People enforce the law. The law does not enforce itself. People, human beings. The law is made for man, and for man to enforce the law.
So it has not been enforced in Abia.
I am not saying. I'm telling you that we are taking steps to ensure that the letter of the law is effective in Abia State.
Through the help of the Chief Registrar, this reporter was able to meet with the State Chief Judge, Justice Onoha Ogwe, for an interview. The interview could not hold as Justice Ogwe proposed a rescheduling for a fortnight and promised to get in touch with the reporter. As of the time of filing this report, the Chief Judge was yet to contact this reporter. Though available information indicates that the Chief Judge has sworn in a 9-member monitoring committee and administration of criminal justice in the state, we approached some lawyers on the issue. Uwai Ukiro believes that both the bar and the bench in the state violate about 90% of the provisions of the Administration of Criminal Justice Law 2017.
The tragedy of the criminal justice system in Abia State is that the Administration of Criminal Justice Law seemed to have dropped from heaven and on earth without the practitioners, both at the bar and the bench, imbibing the spirit of it, the true essence of it. Regrettably, both lawyers in practice and the bench are yet to appreciate the beauty of this law as an instrument to fully enjoy the benefits of the fundamental rights provision. So it's not just the magistrate that is failing. We as lawyers, human rights activists, NGOs, we also failing.
Another lawyer, Emperor Bonna, says he has never witnessed magistrates visit police stations for inspection.
I am aware that no magistrate in Abia State has done that up to today. The magistrates, either they are not aware of this provision of AJA, or they deliberately don't want to go, or they don't think it is necessary that they should go.
Presently, I do not know of any chief magistrate who has ever exercised that power. I do not even know if they really appreciate that they have that power.
On the effect of these violations, Ukiro laments that the citizens are always at the receiving end.
There are so many innocent people who are languishing in cells in Abia States, who has no relationship with any criminal offense, but they are there. And that is why the law made provisions for this inspection. I would want to know a chief magistrate who has attempted to carry out that duty and the police resisted or refused.
But the truth is that the administration of criminal justice law has given more powers to the magistrate. There are so many powers the magistrates have when it comes to releasing or dealing with suspects. Like when somebody is unlawfully detained, apart from going to the court, to the police stations to release him, the magistrate also have the power on the receipt of an application by a lawyer to grant bail to an accused person who is not even before him. So you see that the powers of the magistrate have been enlarged by virtue of that law. So, but right now in Abia State, we are not seeing magistrates going to the police station to demand that an inventory of those who were arrested be given to them and to summarily release those people.
As it has been established, the judicial officers, like the magistrates, violate the SCJL. What will be the penalty and who will be responsible for carrying them out?
The truth is that there is not really any punishment for them, but we can take proactive steps to compel them to live up to the expectation.
In Abia State, the Judicial Service Commission deals with the punishment and discipline of magistrates. So if there are two options actually. The first option is if a magistrate is not doing it or the chief magistrate is not doing it, private persons who are interested can write to the chief judge asking the chief judge of the state to appoint a magistrate or to order the magistrate to go, because it's not really appointing because the law is already clear as to who does it, but to order the magistrates to go to the police stations to do something about the people who are held there. On the alternative, petitions can be written against that magistrate to the Judicial Service Commission, asking the Judicial Service Commission to punish that magistrate that refuses to go to the police stations for the release of suspects.
These responses took us to the Abia State Judicial Service Commission, JSC, for clarification. There was no official comment from the commission due to bureaucratic bottlenecks. However, a source within the JSC, who chose not to be mentioned, said the commission was aware of the lapses by the magistrates, but has not been able to properly put them to check due to what he called operational difficulties. This investigative report was supported by the Premium Times Center for Investigative Journalism, PTCIJ.